checklist here. No. No. Please don't be true. No. 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 You know, there are a lot of movies that I just don't like. There's even a small amount of movies that I hate. But there's a very, very few amount of movies that I fucking despise. And what do you know? Most of the movies that I fucking despise are Titanic movies. Why is it that there are so many shitty movies based on the real disaster of the Titanic? I just don't get it. Here we had a real-life tragedy, and here comes these movies in to crap on it. After Titanic became the highest-grossing movie of all time, there came a bunch of films to cash in on its success. Hell, did you even know there's a Titanic board game? Yeah, there really is. Hang on, I got it right here. Look at that. Titanic the fucking board game. What kind of sick, fucked up person came up with a board game based on the real-life tragedy of the Titanic? Here we had a disaster where people actually fucking died, and they went out and made a board game out of it. Here, let me read the cover. The year's 1912. You're on the most luxurious ocean liner in history, but are you ready for what's next? This is fucked up. I mean, the whole point of the game is to move from the lower class, you know, down below the ship and shit, to the upper class and get to the lifeboats. Or, guess what? You go down with the ship and you fucking sink and die. That is just sick, twisted, and distasteful. I mean, I know I'm probably going to get heat for this, but let me just make a comparison. This is just a comparison. This sounds distasteful, but let me just hear this out. That's like making... Okay, you ready for this? Making a board game based on Titanic is really sick and twisted. That would be like if I made a board game based on the September 11th attacks. The whole point of the game is to get out of the building before, like, it goes down. Now, doesn't that sound incredibly sick and distasteful? Well, imagine that, but with this. That's how this game acts. And not to mention, it's a shitty board game, too, so why waste your fucking time? So in today's video, we're going to take a look at 3 movies. The movies are Titanic, The Legend Goes On, The Legend of the Titanic, a review of its sequel, In Search of the Titanic, also known as Tentacolino. Then finally, in another video, we will finish this all off with a review of a film that I have despised since I was little, James Cameron's Titanic, a film that I cannot believe at one point was the highest grossing movie of all time. Alright, so for those of you still here, we're going to start with the movie that came out in the early 2000s called Titanic, The Legend Goes On. We're going to cover these animated films really briefly, and then in the next video we'll take a look at the Cameron film. Okay, so the premise of all these movies is basically the same, aside from Tentacolino because it's a sequel. You get a bunch of people, they go on the ship, there's an annoying fake love story thrown in, and it's the same shit for pretty much each of the movies, except for the sequel, because it's like a different plot, but it still involves the same fake love story characters. You know, they're basically the same fucking people. Like, you got, like, Rose from the Cameron film, you got Elizabeth, and you got William, and all that other shit. It's just the same fucking thing. Now, Titanic, The Legend Goes On, is easily the most boring out of the 3 animated films. It features terrible animation with horrendous dubbing and even worse voice acting. Oh, and because the disaster of the Titanic, an annoying fake love story, weren't enough to fit into this fucking movie, the filmmakers decided to fit in some racist stereotype mice, you know, like, hey, I'm Speedy Gonzales, Holmes, you know, shit like that. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but they managed to throw in a rapping fucking dog. Yes, a dog that raps in a movie about the disaster of the Titanic. You don't believe me? Here's some proof.
I'm gonna tell you so. Don't sweat it. Forget it. Enjoy the show.
Working all day, now it's time to unwind. Kick back, relax, take a load off your mind. I'll be busting the moves and I'll be busting the rhymes. We'll be busting up laughing cause it's party time.
So wait a second. You mean to tell me that the filmmakers decided to put in a Titanic movie a fucking rapping dog? Okay, for one thing, the time period makes no sense, because, like, was hip-hop really around in when the Titanic sank in the 1900s? No. No. Oh, this is so fucking bad. To be fair though, the dog is still a better rapper than John Cena ever was.
I'm gonna rock him so hard, he'll think my name is Maya Bia. I force feed him gorditas till he explodes from diarrhea.
Sorry about that, I just felt the need to bury Cena there for a second. Oh well, moving on. The main focus of this movie is centered around the love story between a poor girl and a rich boy. It's basically a role reversal of the Cameron film. The movie is done in flashback just like the Cameron movie, there's a locket just like the Cameron movie, and a whole hell of a lot of other things that are from the Cameron movie. Aside from, you know, the talking mice and the dog that raps. Fuck! I can't believe there's a fucking rapping dog on the Titanic. I mean, what the fuck was up with these people when they made this movie? Then there are a bunch of other side plots and other bullshit that goes on in this movie that I honestly don't give a fuck about. We got the talking animals, the fucking girl's evil stepmother, the romance between Rose and Jack, Angelica and William, and blah 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 blah, who gives a shit? So finally, the iceberg shows up and the ship sinks. The characters are reunited and then we get an ending that I can't believe actually exists. It basically wraps up all the bullshit, but they end it with this line. I'm serious, watch this, here we go.
Well, here's hoping that all live happily ever after. Bye for now, and see you soon.
See you soon? Happily ever after?
You serious?
Wow, this is terrible. I mean, holy shit. Every second of this movie makes me want to vomit. I hate the animation, the dubbing, the characters, and the fact that it takes a real-life disaster and adds talking mice and a rapping dog to it. Why they felt the need to add that to this movie is beyond me. Bottom line is that it sucks. Next movie. Okay, the next one is called The Legend of the Titanic. In this one, the story is centered on a family of talking mice who tell the real story about the sinking of the Titanic. Why is there another animated Titanic movie centered on talking mice? Do we really need more than one of these fucking movies? Okay, so this one isn't as boring, and I mean boring, as the last one. However, this film is way more offensive to the people who died on the Titanic than the last one. You want to know why? You want to know why this film is a big slap in the face and a big fuck you to everyone? Okay, let me get this straight. You ready for this? Okay, here we go. In this movie, everyone, and I mean everyone, survives the sinking of the Titanic. Yes, you heard that right. Everyone survived the sinking of the Titanic thanks to the help of a giant talking octopus named Tentacles. That is just dumb. So fucking dumb. Why is there a giant talking octopus in a Titanic movie? You want to know why? You want to know the fucking reason? Well, it's actually very complicated, so here we go. Well, here's the reason, and I am not making this shit up, so here we go. The movie centers on a girl named Elizabeth, who is being forced to marry some evil guy named Maltravers who she doesn't love. Boy, I haven't seen that storyline in a Titanic movie before. Anyways, Maltravers is only trying to marry her because she's the daughter of the Duke who can give him exclusive worldwide whaling rights. Yes, you heard that right. This movie isn't so much about the Titanic, you know, the movie which the fucking title has in it. Instead, it's more about the fucking whales. Now, I don't have a problem with whales. Whales are pretty cool and all, but it begs the question, why didn't they make a movie about, like, anti-whaling, and why did they, like, take that and, like, squeeze it into a story about the disaster of the Titanic? It has nothing to do with each other. Why? Why is this movie an anti-whaling movie instead of a movie about, like, the Titanic? It makes no sense. Like, why? They're two completely different things. If you want to make a movie about, like, saving the whales, then make a movie about saving the fucking whales. But leave the people who died on the Titanic out of it. Anyways, Elizabeth doesn't want to marry him, so she goes and starts crying, and take a look what happens next. You might shit your pants.
What's her name?
You just saw that, right? Yeah, I'm not making this shit up. You saw that, right? She can communicate with dolphins now, thanks to some magic moonbeam bullshit. And take a guess what they talk about. Seriously, just fucking guess.
If you were in my place, young lady, you'd have no time to cry. We're engaged in a desperate battle to save the lives of our friends, the whales.
That's right, whaling. A Titanic movie that is more about whaling than the disaster of the fucking Titanic. What the fuck is up with these people, man? I don't get it. It's why... You know, that's one of the questions that I will never find an answer to. Why they decided to make an anti-whaling movie and squeeze it into the story of the Titanic. Blows my fucking mind. Really, it does. Oh, and before I move on, I was also wondering, how is it that dolphins are able to levitate? I mean, look at them, they're fucking levitating. How is that even possible? I mean, how the fuck are the dolphins levitating? Anyway, since Elizabeth won't marry him, Maltravers decides to tie up her father and force him to sign a contract that will grant him worldwide whaling rights, in order to make sure that the contract is valid and to make sure that no one questions what is going on. Maltravers orders his henchmen to go and tell a gang of evil prison sharks to sink the Titanic. Okay, so now he can communicate with sharks? How the fuck is that possible? Did he have some magic moonbeam bullshit too, to where he can communicate with fucking sharks? Oh, son of a bitch. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Anyways, the sharks then challenge an octopus named Tentacles to an iceberg throwing contest, which then hits the Titanic, causing it to break open and start to sink. So let me get this straight. According to this movie, the real reason that the Titanic sank was because a group of sharks challenged an octopus named Tentacles to an iceberg throwing contest because of some weird anti-whaling plot. Or whaling plot, whatever. Fuck you. I mean that. Fuck you. Here we have a real-life tragedy where people actually died. And here come these filmmakers in to come along and take that tragedy and throw it into some, like, weird anti-whaling plot. What the Anyways, the ship begins to sink and all hope is lost. But the whales come in to save the day along with Tentacles. Everyone is saved, this chick marries that guy, and everyone seems happy. Everyone seems happy. Everyone except me. I'm not happy because I had to sit through this shit. I don't know what else I can add to this, other than that this is just a really flat-out, very bad movie that should never see the light of day again. Unfortunately, though, and I mean unfortunately, there is a sequel to this piece of shit. I mean, I know the first movie was absolutely terrible, but the sequel just can't be that bad.
Yo, 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 look at my teeth. They're so sharp and white and neat. They bring on fear and even some terror. Once they shut, I make no error. With no doubt, and needless to say, the feast is taken with the prey.
Excuse me one moment. Alright, let's dig into this pile of shit. So the plot of this one deals with some of the characters of the last movie trying to raise the Titanic, and while on their journey they end up in the lost city of Atlantis. Why? Just why? The one word that comes to mind when I see this movie is just uncomfortable. It's strange. I mean, it's just fucked up. From the disturbing looking creatures to some awful music, from the rapping shark to this shit.
The water is fresh, you can swim around at the fish hotel. It's a real cool sound. Coming to my shelter doesn't cost her dime. Every single day, it's always party time. What kind of sick, fucked up shit is going on here?
There's even some really sick scene that involves dogs making out with each other. It's like, get that shit off my screen. I don't want to see some animated dogs making out with each other. I mean, seriously, somebody must have some weird, sick fetish going on with this shit. Alright, well, I don't want to be here all day talking about this movie, so let's go over what happens here pretty quickly. So the characters from the last movie show up and go looking for the Titanic. This rapping shark comes in and sabotages their mission, and they end up being rescued by Tentacles and the people of Atlantis. Are you still with me? Because it's about to get worse. So they end up at Atlantis, where they come across an evil plot involving these fucking rats/mice and the rapping shark who are trying to get this thing called the Elixir of Life, which will allow them to be able to take over the world. Okay, let me get this straight. So we go from this plot about raising the Titanic to a plot about rats/mice and sharks working together to take over the world. I mean, what the hell is going on here? What movie are they trying to make? Alright, so the evil bad guys get found out about, a chase ensues, and there's a dog firing a fucking laser gun, which at this point doesn't even shock me considering how much fucking shit is in this movie. I mean, because why wouldn't there be laser guns in a movie that's supposed to be about raising the Titanic? Alright, so Atlantis wins and shit, and the mice/rats eventually get institutionalized. I don't know how and why, but they get institutionalized. They then literally raise the Titanic and fit it with Atlantis technology, and the movie ends with this awful-ass song. And thank God, because this movie was absolutely fucking terrible. The voice acting is horrendous, the animation is awful, the plot is terrible, not to mention this is one of the most unnecessary sequels ever made. It's also a big fuck you to those affected by the tragedy of the Titanic. Why was it made? I will never know. But this is just fucking awful and just is a complete waste of fucking time. Alright, well, that pretty much sums up the animated Titanic trilogy. They're offensive and they all suck. Each and every one of them. The third one is by far the worst. The Tentacolino, you know, In Search the Titanic. She goes on. Whatever. Who cares? I just want to forget. I just want to forget these movies. I don't want to talk about them ever again. I hate the third one the most. Second one sucked really bad. The first one's just extremely boring. Just tough to sit through. They all are really hard movies to sit through. I never want to sit through them again. Ever. You know what? That's all I got for me today. I can't do a fourth movie in this video. The three is enough. 3 is enough. So we're gonna continue this in another day. I hope everyone has a good day when they're seeing this, because next time it's the Cameron film, and I hate the Cameron film. I'm just letting you all know I don't like it. I never liked it. I've hated it since I was little. Oh, son of a bitch. Alright, well, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed suffering along with these movies. Anyways, if there's anything you should learn from this is don't play the Titanic board game and don't watch those movies. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I really mean it. I appreciate it. Not much else to say other than take care now. Bye-bye then.